Why did you become a sexologist? Hi, my name is Martha. I'm a clinical sexologist with a doctorate in human sexuality, and I'm from Eros Coaching. Sometimes within the first 5 seconds of meeting someone new, they ask me why I became a sexologist. And often it's not the place and time to go into a long story, but people seem to really press me for answers. So my first answer would be to help people. And then they would ask many ways to help someone. Why would you want to help them in this area? And I say, well, because I love sex, which is true. And then they laugh, they don't seem to believe. And they say, no, really, tell me. So then I go into the really longer story, which is that I have friends who are sexually inhibited, and that propelled me to start having that desire to help more people. And an even longer story, if I have more time with someone, is that I first started working in corporate communications, doing PR, marketing, advertising. And in corporate communications, it's really very much about dealing with internal and external communications for the company. And often it is with regards to dealing with the masses, with groups of people or different kinds of audiences. It can be an audience of one, it can be an audience of thousands or millions. And I did that with my Bachelor of Communications degree. And at the end of my first marriage, I asked myself, who am I and what do I want to stand for? What kind of a legacy do I want to leave? And I decided to quit my corporate job and start this nonprofit in the area of helping young people in the area of career guidance. And it wasn't sustainable. After a year, I had to close it down. At that time, I got my taste of what it feels like to have my own little outfit. So I decided that I wouldn't want to go back to the corporate world. I wanted to start my own practice helping people, only in what area of helping people. I also was doing a volunteer counseling work, doing helpline, and I felt and I knew, I was told also, that I have an empathy that comes forward when I'm in one face-to-face or direct contact with someone. And that was something that was new to me. I realized I had this infinite patience that came forward when I had someone in distress, and it was very powerful, that one-to-one interaction, as opposed to what I was doing, which is communicating with the masses for a really long time. And so I realized I wanted to start my own practice. I needed more training. I had applied and to do my master's in counseling. At the point of application, I saw this spat of media articles talking about rising teenage pregnancy and increased STI rates in Singapore. That got me really, really mad. So mad that I couldn't sleep for a few days. And there was this righteous anger coming forward. And I knew that if I had a choice in the area of helping people, I wanted to specialize in sex. And time and place, things just happened to come together at that point. The money came in for me to do my studies. So I went and pursued this doctorate in human sexuality at the Institute of Advanced Study of Human Sexuality in San Francisco. And it was quite a culture shock for me. Even though I thought I was quite open to sex, I really didn't know what you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And so I was exposed to the whole spectrum of human sexual behavior, and living in Singapore, being quite sheltered. I thought I had a positive sex attitude, which I had, but what I didn't have was the full appreciation of the full spectrum of human sexual behavior. And it was quite evident to me very quickly that even though the doctorate was useful for the world to know, but it really didn't prepare me for clinical practice working with a client, and that was what I wanted to do. So when I got further training in sex therapy, and also in sex coaching, and also in coaching, and also in counseling, and so I made sure that I had the skills and qualifications necessary to work with clients. So I then was comfortable with working with people with all kinds of sexual problems, concerns, issues, questions, and sexual dysfunction specifically. And lo and behold, the most common issue people come to me for in Singapore is vaginismus. It's a condition that happens when a woman's vagina clamps up or shuts down, making penetration difficult, impossible. It is the anticipation of pain as opposed to actual pain that the woman usually feels. So in a nutshell, this is why I became a sexologist. I wanted to stand for sex. I love sex, and I want to help people to be completely confident with all parts of themselves, including their sexuality. And I have friends who were sexually inhibited, uncomfortable, who had sexual phobia, who had low sex drive. And I wanted to, having had these real experiences with people, I really wanted to help more people. And over time, I saw how my friends who came for my events and workshops, they slowly started to open up more and more. And they started to look different. They started to look more confident. They started to look more liberated, more vibrant. And I knew that my work was very important. And so I have been doing this for 7 years now. The first 2 years especially was really hard. People were telling me that I need to stop doing this. My work would be better received if I were in the US. I should go overseas. I should not bother with this lot of people in Singapore. And frankly, there were many days when I wanted to just pack it up and just quit. And there were many days where I had to keep asking myself again and again, why am I doing this? And I had to take back my power by telling myself that I choose again. I choose again what I do. I choose again. Sometimes several times in the same day, that this is what I want to stand for. This is the space in which I want to help people. And it hasn't been easy, especially since I do get harassment. I do get people laughing in my face, making fun of me. And maybe it's funny, these jokes, the first 2 years. But after that, it just got really, really annoying. And anyway, this video is supposed to be for me to answer the question of why I became a sexologist, not the trials and tribulations of a sexologist. So this is a personal story, and I look forward to your questions. You can email me at ask@eroscoaching.com. If you have a comment, post it below. And I'm looking for questions relating to love, sex, and life. So I'm making videos, and I want to help people